The boy's hand trembles against the leather strap of his backpack. 6 years old, standing on a sidewalk in suburban Chicago where nothing bad is supposed to happen, where mothers wave from porches and mailmen know everyone's name, where the morning smells like fresh-cut grass and coffee. Except this morning, the air feels wrong. The child doesn't move toward the crosswalk, doesn't call out for his parent. Instead, he walks straight toward the black SUV parked 3 houses down, toward the man everyone crosses the street to avoid. Dante Kade leans against his vehicle, white shirt rolled to the elbows, ink crawling up both forearms like living shadows. Neck tattoos curve behind his ear. His jaw could cut glass. His eyes miss nothing. People call him a king, a ghost, a problem solver who doesn't leave loose ends. They're not wrong. But what they don't know is that Dante has spent the last year quietly erasing trafficking networks from the map, paying medical bills for strangers, funding women's shelters under fake company names, because violence is easier to stomach when you can pretend it serves something good. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The boy stops 2 feet away. Most people won't make eye contact with Dante. This child stares right at him. Mr. Dante. Dante's expression doesn't shift, but something inside him goes still. You know my name. The boy nods fast, like he's been holding his breath. You're the scary man who's not scary to us. That phrase hits Dante harder than it should. He crouches down slow, bringing himself to the child's level, close enough to see the fear in those young eyes, close enough to see the exhaustion, too, the kind that doesn't belong in someone so small. What's your name? Keo. Dante waits. Keo swallows hard, glances over his shoulder like someone might be watching, then leans in and whispers. I need you to walk me to school. Dante's instincts fire all at once. Why? Keo's voice drops even lower, because the bad man is back. The temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. Dante keeps his face neutral, but his pulse kicks up. He shifts his weight, scanning the street without moving his head. Parked cars, empty driveways, a dog barking 3 houses down, nothing obviously wrong. But Keo wouldn't be here if nothing was wrong. What bad man? Dante asks carefully. Keo's mouth trembles. His hands tighten on his backpack straps until his knuckles go pale. He looks like he might cry, but he's fighting it hard, fighting it the way kids do when they've had to be brave too many times already. Finally, he says it. My grandpa. Dante doesn't react outwardly, doesn't move, doesn't blink. But inside, rage ignites like gasoline meeting a match. Because he knows exactly who Keo is talking about. He knows the monster that boy is running from. And he knows that if Grayson Vale is back, then blood is about to spill. Dante keeps his voice calm. Does your dad know you're here? Keo shakes his head. He's still sleeping. The baby makes him really tired. Dante's jaw tightens. The baby, right, Rowan's 2nd pregnancy, due in a few months. Which means Rowan is vulnerable. Which means Grayson's timing isn't an accident. Dante places a hand on Keo's shoulder, firm but gentle. Listen to me, I'm going to walk you to school, and I'm going to make sure nothing happens to you, but first we need to tell your dad where you are, okay? Keo nods, relief flooding his face like he's been carrying the weight of the world. Okay. Dante stands, pulling out his phone. He's about to dial when movement catches his eye. Someone running. It's not jogging, running. A figure in an oversized sweatshirt, barefoot on the concrete, dark hair wild around his face. Moving fast but unsteady, like panic is the only thing keeping him upright. Rowan. He spots Keo and nearly stumbles, breath coming in gasps. His face is pale, his eyes are too wide, and his belly, round and unmistakable beneath the fabric, makes every step look like it costs him. Keo, Rowan's voice cracks. I was looking everywhere for you, why did you leave? Keo runs to him, wrapping both arms around Rowan's waist, pressing his cheek against the swell of his stomach. I didn't leave forever, Keo mumbles. I just needed Mr. Dante to walk me to school, because the bad man's watching. Rowan freezes. His whole body goes rigid. His eyes snap to Dante, and the terror in them is raw, unfiltered, and absolute. You saw him, Rowan's voice barely works. Keo nods. Rowan's breath hitches. Then his phone buzzes in his pocket. He pulls it out with shaking hands, glances at the screen, and every bit of color drains from his face. Dante steps closer. Who is it? Rowan doesn't answer, he just turns the phone around. A photo. Keo walking outside, taken from across the street. And below it, a message in cold, clinical text. You can run, but you can't hide from blood. Bring my grandson back, or I'll take him in PICS. Rowan makes a sound somewhere between a sob and a gasp. Dante's expression hardens into something deadly. He looks at Rowan, then at Keo, then back at the phone. And in that moment, he makes a decision that will change everything. Get in the car, Dante says quietly. Rowan shakes his head, panic rising. I can't if he sees me with you. He already knows. Dante's voice is calm, but there's steel underneath. He sent that message because he wants you scared. He wants you running, so we're not going to run. Rowan's eyes fill with tears. He's not just abusive, Dante. He's a terrorist. He doesn't care who he hurts, he'll. Then he's about to learn what happens when someone like him touches what's mine. The word mine hangs in the air. Rowan flinches, not from fear of Dante, but from the weight of that word, because he's been claimed before, been owned before. But then Dante does something unexpected. He steps forward and gently places his hand over Rowan's stomach. Not possessive. Protective. I won't let him take you, Dante says. I won't let him take your children. Would you let a stranger protect your family, or would fear make you run? Rowan showed up in Dante's territory during a rainstorm. No shoes, bruises on his arms, Keo clinging to his chest like the only solid thing left in the world. It was late, past midnight, the kind of hour when nothing good happens. Dante's security flagged him immediately. Unknown Omega, child, no vehicle, moving through restricted zones like a ghost. Dante could have had him removed, could have ignored it entirely. But when his men brought Rowan to the warehouse, soaking wet and shaking so hard his teeth chattered, Dante saw something he hadn't seen in years. Innocence. Not naivety, not ignorance. Real innocence, the kind that's been beaten down and buried, but still refuses to die. Rowan didn't speak at first, just held Keo tighter, eyes darting around the room like he expected violence from every shadow. Dante dismissed his men, grabbed a towel, tossed it to Rowan without a word. You're not in trouble, Dante said. Rowan didn't believe him. His hands shook as he dried Keo's hair first, ignoring his own soaked clothes. Dante tried again. You hungry? No response. Your kid hungry? That got through. Rowan nodded slowly. He hasn't eaten since yesterday. Dante's jaw tightened, but he didn't push. He just made a call. 20 minutes later, food arrived, hot soup, bread, juice boxes. Keo ate like he was starving. Rowan barely touched his bowl. It took 3 days before Rowan said more than 5 words at a time. It took a week before he explained why he ran. And when he finally did, Dante understood why Rowan looked at every door like an exit. Grayson Vale wasn't just Rowan's father. He was a classified-level threat, a ghost in government files, a man whose name triggered alerts in systems most people didn't know existed. Grayson built his life around control and fear, organized public attacks designed to destabilize institutions, sent anonymous threats to schools, hospitals, transit systems, not because he wanted chaos, but because he wanted the power to create it. And Rowan. Rowan was his masterpiece. Grayson isolated him from childhood, controlled who he saw, what he learned, where he went, used fear like a scalpel, carving away any chance of rebellion. When Rowan turned 18, Grayson arranged a bond with an alpha from a connected family. No choice, no consent, just orders. Keo was the result. And Grayson used that child like a leash. He told me if I ever tried to leave, he'd make Keo watch me die, Rowan whispered that night, voice hollow. He said he'd teach Keo that love meant fear, that family meant obedience, and that running meant death. Dante sat across from him, silent. When I got pregnant again, Rowan's hand drifted to his stomach. I didn't plan it, it just happened, and Grayson lost his mind. He said I was ruining his investment, that I was weak, broken. His voice cracked. He beat me so hard I couldn't walk for 2 days, and Keo saw it. Keo tried to stop him, and Grayson shoved him into a wall. Rowan looked up, tears streaming down his face. That's when I knew, if I stayed, Keo would grow up thinking that's what love looks like, and I couldn't let that happen. Dante didn't say anything for a long moment. Then he leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and looked Rowan dead in the eye. You're not going back. Rowan shook his head. You don't understand. He'll find me. He always finds me. Not this time. You don't know what he's capable of. Yes, I do. Dante's voice was quiet but absolute. And I'm still telling you, you're not going back. Rowan stared at him, disbelief and hope tangled together in his expression. Why, he whispered, why would you protect us? Dante's throat worked like he was swallowing something sharp. Because someone should have protected you a long time ago, he said, and they didn't. I'm not making that same mistake. That night, Rowan fell asleep on Dante's couch for the first time in weeks. Keo curled up beside him, small hand resting on Rowan's belly. And Dante stood by the window, watching the street, knowing that peace never lasted. Knowing that men like Grayson Vale didn't forgive. They hunted. How far would you go to protect someone who had nowhere else to run? Rowan's chest heaves as he stares at the message on his phone. The words blur, the photo burns into his vision. His son, outside, watched, photographed. Hunted. His knees buckle. Dante catches him before he hits the pavement, one arm around his back, the other steadying his shoulder. Rowan's pregnant belly presses against Dante's side, and for a moment he can't breathe, can't think past the roaring panic in his skull. I can't, Rowan gasps, I can't do this again. You don't have to, Dante's voice is low, steady, I've got you. Keo looks up at both of them, confused. Dad, are you okay? Rowan forces himself to nod, but his hands won't stop shaking. He tries to smile for Keo's sake, but his face won't cooperate. Dante crouches again, meeting Keo's eyes. Hey, you did good coming to find me, real good. Now I need you to stay close to your dad, okay? Keo nods seriously. Dante straightens, pulling out his phone. He types fast, sends 2 messages, then pockets the device. We're moving, he says, now. Rowan shakes his head. If I get in your car, he'll know I asked for help, he'll. His phone buzzes again. Rowan's whole body goes rigid. He looks down. Another message. But this time the photo isn't of Keo. It's of Rowan's house. From inside. The living room, the couch where Keo's toys are scattered, the kitchen table with Rowan's half-finished tea still sitting in a mug. The message below reads, You left the door unlocked, careless. Rowan's knees give out completely this time. Dante catches him again, holding him upright as Rowan's breath comes in sharp, broken gasps. He was inside, Rowan chokes out. He was in my house while I was sleeping, while Keo was. Look at me, Dante's voice cuts through the panic. Rowan, look at me. Rowan's eyes snap up. He wants you scared, Dante says. That's all this is. Fear, he's not going to take you, not today, not ever. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Dante's expression is carved from stone, because I'm not letting you out of my sight. Rowan wants to argue, wants to explain that Grayson doesn't lose, that he spent years perfecting the art of breaking people. But Dante's hand is still on his shoulder, steady and warm, and for the first time in weeks, Rowan feels something other than terror. He feels believed. Keo tugs on Dante's sleeve. Is the bad man going to hurt my dad? Dante looks down at him. No. Promise. Dante hesitates just for a second, then he crouches again, meeting Keo at eye level. I promise, he says. Keo's face relaxes, trust blooming in his expression like he's never had a reason to doubt an adult before. Rowan's throat tightens. Because Keo does doubt adults. Keo has learned that grown-ups lie, that promises break, that safety is temporary. But somehow when Dante says it, Keo believes him. Dante stands and pulls Rowan gently toward the SUV. Get in, both of you. Rowan climbs into the back seat, pulling Keo onto his lap. His hands won't stop trembling, his pulse won't slow. Dante slides into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and pulls out onto the street without another word. They drive in silence for 3 blocks. Then Rowan's phone buzzes a third time. He doesn't want to look. But he does. And this time the message makes his blood turn to ice. A single photo. Rowan's bedroom. The window. And written in the condensation on the glass, like someone pressed their finger against it from the inside. Soon. If someone was inside your home while you slept, would you ever feel safe again? Dante doesn't take them to the safe house. He takes them to his own place. A compound on the edge of the city, surrounded by walls and cameras and men who don't ask questions. The kind of place that doesn't appear on any map. Rowan climbs out of the SUV on shaking legs, still holding Keo's hand. His eyes scan the perimeter, old habits from years of hypervigilance. "This is where you live?" Keo asks, awed. "Sometimes," Dante says. He nods toward the main building. "Go inside, second door on the left. There's a room with a TV and some books. Stay there." Keo looks up at Rowan for permission. Rowan nods, forcing a smile. "Go ahead, baby, I'll be right there." Keo disappears inside, and the moment he's out of earshot, Rowan turns to Dante. "He was in my house," Rowan says, voice raw, "while I was asleep, while Keo was in the next room." Dante pulls out his phone, pulls up security footage. "I had someone check your place remotely. Your locks weren't forced, your windows weren't broken." Rowan's stomach drops. "Then how?" "He has a key." The words land like a punch. Rowan's vision swims. "That's impossible. I changed the locks when I moved, I made sure." "Grayson doesn't need your permission to access your life," Dante says quietly. "He's been doing this for years, Rowan. He's had time to build networks, to buy access, to make sure no door stays closed to him." Rowan's hands curl into fists. "So what, I just live like this forever, looking over my shoulder, waiting for him to decide when he's done playing?" "No," Dante's voice is steel. "We end it." "How?" Rowan's voice cracks. "He's untouchable. Every time someone tries to stop him, he disappears. He's got people in law enforcement, in government, he's—" "I know," Dante's jaw tightens. "I know what he is." Rowan stares at him. "Then you know we can't win." "We can," Dante meets his eyes, "but not by running." Rowan shakes his head, panic rising again. "I can't fight him. I tried once and he—" He stops. Can't finish the sentence. Because finishing it means reliving it. Dante steps closer. "You're not alone this time." Rowan wants to believe him, wants to let himself hope. But hope is dangerous. Hope gets people killed. "Why are you doing this?" Rowan whispers. "You don't owe me anything." Dante's expression shifts. Something vulnerable flickers across his face, just for a second. "Because I know what it's like to live in a world built by monsters," he says, "and I'm tired of pretending I can't do anything about it." Before Rowan can respond, Keo's voice calls from inside. "Dad, there's a fish tank in here." Rowan's breath catches. He hasn't heard Keo sound excited in weeks. Dante nods toward the door. "Go, be with him." Rowan hesitates, then moves toward the building. But before he steps inside, he looks back. "Dante." Dante turns. "Thank you." Dante doesn't respond, just watches as Rowan disappears into the house. Then he pulls out his phone and makes a call. "I need surveillance on Grayson Vale," he says, "and I need it yesterday." The voice on the other end pauses. "Boss, you know what you're asking for. Vale's connected, if you go after him." "I didn't ask for your opinion," Dante cuts in. "I asked for surveillance." "Understood." Dante ends the call. Then he receives a new message. Unknown number. He opens it. A photo. Rowan's house again. But this time the message is different. "She told Emmy you'd try to help. Cute, see you soon." Dante's blood runs cold. She? Who the hell is she? Could you trust anyone if the enemy already knew your next move? Morning comes too fast. Rowan wakes on an unfamiliar couch, disoriented, heart already racing before he's fully conscious. Then he remembers. Dante's compound, safety, walls. He sits up slowly, one hand pressed to his belly. The baby shifts inside him, a small flutter of movement that used to bring comfort. Now it just reminds him how vulnerable he is. Keo is still asleep in the next room. Rowan checked on him 3 times during the night, unable to fight the compulsion to make sure he was still breathing. The house is quiet. Too quiet. Rowan stands, pads barefoot into the kitchen, finds Dante sitting at the counter with a tablet, scanning through files. "You're up early," Rowan says. Dante doesn't look up, didn't sleep. Rowan moves closer, glancing at the screen. Security footage, street cameras, satellite images. "Are you tracking him?" Trying to, Dante scrolls through another set of images. He's careful, moves through blind spots, uses burner phones, but everyone makes mistakes eventually. Rowan swallows. What happens when you find him? Dante finally looks up. "You don't need to worry about that." "Yes, I do." Rowan's voice hardens. "He's my father, my nightmare. I deserve to know." Dante studies him for a moment, then sets the tablet down. "When I find him," Dante says slowly, "I'm going to make sure he can never touch you again. That's all you need to know." Rowan wants to argue, wants to demand details. But Keo's voice interrupts from the hallway. "Dad, why are we here?" Rowan turns, forcing a smile. "Just visiting a friend, baby." Keo frowns. "For how long?" "I don't know yet." Keo walks over, climbs onto Rowan's lap despite being a little too big for it now. He rests his head against Rowan's chest, and Rowan wraps both arms around him. "I don't want to go to school today," Keo mumbles. Rowan's heart clenches. "Why not?" "Because the bad man was watching yesterday." Rowan looks at Dante helplessly. Dante stands. "Then I'll take him." Rowan blinks. "What?" "I'll walk him to school," Dante says. "Make sure he's safe." Keo lifts his head, eyes wide. "Really?" "Really?" Keo's face lights up, the first real smile Rowan's seen in days. But Rowan hesitates. "You don't have to." "I know," Dante says, "but I'm going to anyway." An hour later, they're standing outside the elementary school. Except it doesn't look like a school anymore. It looks like a military operation. Black SUVs parked at every corner, men in plain clothes positioned along the sidewalk, dressed like parents, joggers, construction workers, but Rowan knows better. He sees the earpieces, the concealed weapons, the way they move with purpose. Dante has turned the entire block into a fortress. Keo holds Dante's hand as they walk toward the entrance, and other parents stare, some curious, some uneasy. Rowan trails behind, heart pounding. This is too much attention, too visible. Grayson will see this. Grayson will know. But then Keo looks back at him and smiles, and Rowan realizes something. For the first time in his life, Keo isn't afraid to go to school. They reach the front doors. Keo waves at his teacher, then turns to Dante. "Thank you, Mr. Dante." Dante crouches. "Stay with your teacher, don't leave the building, understand?" Keo nods. Then, without warning, he wraps his arms around Dante's neck in a quick hug before running inside. Dante stands slowly, expression unreadable. Rowan walks over. "That was a lot. It needed to be. Grayson's going to see this. He's going to know you're involved." "Good," Dante says. "Let him know." Rowan's breath catches. "You're using us as bait." "No," Dante turns to face him fully. "I'm making a statement. Grayson operates through fear. He controls people by making them feel powerless, so I'm showing him that you're not powerless anymore." Rowan wants to believe that. But fear has lived in his bones for too long. Dante's phone rings. He answers, listens for a moment, then his expression goes dark. When pause, how close, another pause, lock it down now. He hangs up. Rowan's pulse spikes. What happened? Dante's jaw tightens. They found someone near the school perimeter, carrying materials. Rowan's blood turns to ice. What kind of materials? Dante doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. Because Rowan already knows. Grayson isn't just stalking them. He's planning something bigger. What would you do if the place you thought was safe became the target? The man doesn't run when Dante's security closes in. He just stands there on the corner, 2 blocks from the school, hands in his jacket pockets like he's waiting for a bus. Dante crosses the street in 4 strides, Rowan stumbling to keep up behind him. "Don't," Dante says without looking back, "stay by the car." But Rowan doesn't listen, can't listen, because if Grayson sent someone here to Kiyo's school, then this stops being about fear. This becomes about survival. Dante reaches the man first. 2 of his crew flank either side, blocking escape routes. "Hands out," Dante says. The man complies slowly, pulling his hands free. Empty. "Who are you?" Dante's voice is flat, controlled. The man smiles. "Nobody." Wrong answer. One of Dante's men moves fast, patting him down, finds a phone, a wallet, and something else. A small canvas bag. Dante takes it, opens it carefully. Inside, wires, a timer, components that don't belong in a civilian's hands. Rowan's knees almost give out. Dante's expression doesn't change, but his voice drops to something lethal. "Who sent you?" The man's smile widens. "You already know." Dante steps closer, close enough that the man has to look up to meet his eyes. "Where is he?" "Everywhere," the man laughs. "You think locking down one street stops him? He's already 10 steps ahead." Dante's jaw tightens. Then his phone rings. He answers without looking away from the man. "Talk." The voice on the other end speaks fast, urgent. Dante's face goes cold. He ends the call and turns to his crew. "Get him out of here, lock him down, I want everything he knows." Then he grabs Rowan's arm, not rough but firm, and pulls him back toward the SUV. Rowan stumbles. "What's happening?" Dante doesn't answer until they're inside the vehicle, doors closed, engine running. "We need to move Kiyo," Dante says. "Now." Rowan's chest tightens. "Why? What did they find?" Dante's hands grip the steering wheel hard enough to make his knuckles go white. "That man wasn't working alone," he says. "There's another operative inside the school." Rowan's world tilts. He tries to breathe and can't. Tries to think and can't. All he can see is Kiyo's face, Kiyo's smile, Kiyo waving goodbye at the front doors. "We have to get him out," Rowan gasps. "We have to." Already moving, Dante's phone is pressed to his ear again. "Evacuate the building. Quiet, no panic. I want every exit covered." Rowan's hands shake so hard he has to clasp them together. Dante pulls up to the school's side entrance. Teachers are already leading students out in calm, organized lines, fire drill procedure, except everyone's eyes are too sharp, movements too precise. Kiyo appears in the 3rd group, holding his teacher's hand. The moment he sees Rowan, he breaks away and runs. Rowan catches him, pulls him close, feels the weight of him, solid and real and alive. "Dad," Kiyo's voice is small. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, baby," Rowan's voice cracks. "We're just going somewhere safe." They climb into the SUV. Dante pulls away from the curb before the door even closes. Rowan holds Kiyo tight, one hand on his son's head, the other on his belly. "Did they find the person inside?" Rowan asks quietly. Dante's silence is answer enough. Rowan closes his eyes. "This is my fault," he whispers. "I brought this to you, I brought danger to." "Stop," Dante's voice cuts through the spiral. "This isn't on you, this is Grayson, and he's about to learn what happens when he crosses the wrong line." Rowan wants to believe him. But then his phone buzzes. He pulls it out with shaking hands. Unknown number. He opens the message. A photo. Dante walking Kiyo into the school this morning. And below it, words that make Rowan's blood freeze. "Cute, you found a guard dog, but even dogs can be put down." Rowan's breath stops. He shows Dante the screen. Dante's expression goes dark, darker than Rowan's ever seen. "There's something I need to tell you," Dante says. Rowan's stomach drops. "What?" Dante's jaw works like he's chewing broken glass. "Grayson and we're connected." Rowan stares. "What are you talking about?" Years ago, Dante says slowly, my organization moved money. We didn't ask questions, didn't look too deep, we just took contracts and delivered. Rowan's chest tightens. One of those contracts, Dante's voice hardens. It was tied to a network that funded operations, terror operations. Rowan's vision swims. No. I didn't know, Dante says. Not until it was too late. By the time I found out what we'd enabled, people were already dead. Rowan pulls back, horror and betrayal crashing through him. You helped him. I helped the system that protected him. Dante's voice is raw, and I've spent every day since trying to burn that system down. Rowan can't breathe. Can't process. Because the man who saved him, the man he's starting to trust, just admitted he's part of the machine that built his nightmare. Why didn't you tell me? Rowan's voice cracks. Because I knew you'd look at me the way you're looking at me right now. Rowan turns away, pressing Keo's face against his chest so he won't hear. I can't do this, Rowan whispers. Dante's throat works, I understand. You don't, Rowan's voice breaks. You don't understand what it's like to trust someone and find out they're just another version of the people who hurt you. Dante doesn't respond. Because what can he say? That he's different. Rowan's heard that before. What would you do if the person protecting you had blood on their hands too? The safe house is smaller than the compound. One floor, reinforced walls, cameras everywhere. Rowan sits on the edge of the bed, Keo asleep beside him, and stares at nothing. His mind won't stop racing. Grayson is out there, planning, watching. And Dante, the man who promised protection, just admitted he's tied to the same world that gave Grayson power. A knock at the door. Rowan doesn't answer. The door opens anyway. Dante stands in the doorway, hands in his pockets, looking more human than Rowan's ever seen him. I'm not asking you to forgive me, Dante says quietly. Rowan doesn't look at him. Good, because I don't know if I can. Dante steps inside, closes the door behind him. I was younger, arrogant, I thought power meant freedom. I thought if I controlled enough, I could protect the people I cared about. Rowan's hands curl into fists, and instead you helped monsters. Yes. The honesty cuts deeper than an excuse would. Rowan finally looks up. Why tell me now? Because you deserve the truth. Dante's voice is steady. And because if we're going to stop Grayson, you need to know who I really am. Rowan's throat tightens. And who are you? Dante's eyes are dark, haunted. Someone who made mistakes. Someone who spent years trying to fix them. Someone who won't let you go through this alone. Rowan wants to stay angry. Wants to hold onto the betrayal. But he's so tired. Tired of running, tired of being afraid, tired of carrying everything by himself. I don't know how to trust you, Rowan whispers. I know, Dante sits on the floor, back against the wall, giving Rowan space. But I'm not asking you to trust me because I've earned it. I'm asking you to let me prove I can. Rowan's eyes burn. Grayson used to say the same thing, he says. After he'd hurt me, he'd say he'd change, that he'd do better, and I'd believe him, every time. Dante's expression tightens. I'm not him. How do I know that? Dante doesn't answer right away. Then he pulls something from his pocket, a small drive. This, he says, is everything I've collected on Grayson. Every file, every recording, every transaction, every name of everyone who's protected him. He holds it out. Rowan stares at it. Why are you giving this to me? Because you're the one who decides what happens next, Dante says. Not me. You. If you want to take this to the authorities yourself, do it. If you want to disappear and never see me again, I'll make sure you're protected while you go. But if you want to fight back. He pauses. Then I'll stand beside you, not in front of you, beside you. Rowan's hands shake as he takes the drive. It's small, light. But it feels like the weight of his entire life. Keo stirs beside him, mumbles something in his sleep, then settles again. Rowan looks at his son. Thinks about the baby growing inside him. Thinks about what kind of world he wants them to grow up in. I'm tired of being prey, Rowan says quietly. Dante's eyes sharpen. Then don't be. Rowan looks up, tears sliding down his face. What if I'm not strong enough? You ran from a man who spent years breaking you, Dante says. You protected your son. You're carrying a child through trauma most people wouldn't survive. You're stronger than you think. Rowan's breath hitches. I want to testify, he says. Dante goes still. You sure? No, Rowan's voice cracks, but I'm doing it anyway. Dante stands slowly, crosses the room, and crouches in front of Rowan. Then we do it right, he says. We build a case so tight Grayson can't slip through. We protect you every step, and when it's done. He pauses. You get to choose what comes next, not him, you. Rowan nods, even though his whole body is shaking. Because for the first time in his life, he's not running. He's fighting back. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. But then Dante's phone buzzes. He checks it. His face goes white. What? Rowan's stomach drops. Dante shows him the screen. A message from an unknown number. A photo of the safe house. From outside. Taken 30 seconds ago. And below it. Found you. Can you ever truly hide from someone who knows every move before you make it? The lights cut out. 1 second the safe house is bathed in lamplight. The next, it's pitch black. Rowan gasps, hand flying to Keo, shaking him awake. Keo, wake up. Keo's eyes snap open, confused, frightened. Dad. We need to move. Rowan's voice is tight, controlled panic. Right now. Dante's already at the door, phone pressed to his ear. I need backup at location 7. Now. Pause. I don't care, get them here. He hangs up, turns to Rowan. Bathroom, lock the door, don't come out until I tell you. Rowan grabs Keo's hand, pulls him toward the bathroom, but Keo resists. What about you? Keo asks Dante. Dante crouches fast, meets Keo's eyes. I'll be right outside, I promise. Keo nods, then lets Rowan pull him into the bathroom. Rowan locks the door, pulls Keo into the bathtub, wraps both arms around him. His heart pounds so hard it hurts. Outside, footsteps. Not Dante's. Too many. Rowan presses his hand over Keo's mouth gently, shaking his head. Quiet. Keo's eyes are wide, terrified, but he doesn't make a sound. Then a voice cuts through the darkness. Calm, cold, familiar. It's Rowan. Rowan's entire body goes rigid. No. No. I know you're here, son. Grayson. Rowan's breath stops. Keo trembles against him, recognizing the voice, and Rowan holds him tighter. You've caused quite a bit of trouble, Grayson continues, voice echoing through the house. Running away, embarrassing me, making me look weak. Footsteps move closer to the bathroom door. Rowan's pulse roars in his ears. But I forgive you, Grayson says, because that's what fathers do. They forgive, they guide, they correct. The door handle jiggles. Locked. Open the door, Rowan. Rowan doesn't move, doesn't breathe. I'm not here to hurt you, Grayson says, voice soft, persuasive. I just want to talk, just you and me, like old times. Rowan's hands shake so hard he can barely hold Keo. I'll even let the boy stay, Grayson adds, for now. Then Dante's voice cuts in, sharp and deadly. Step away from the door. Silent. Then Grayson laughs, low, amused. It's the guard dog. Last warning, Dante says. You think you can protect him? Grayson's voice is laced with mockery. You think you're special. You're just another fool who thinks he can save someone who doesn't want to be saved. He already saved himself, Dante says. I'm just making sure you don't drag him back. Grayson's laugh turns sharp, cute, but you don't know what you're dealing with. Yeah, I do, Dante's voice is ice. I know exactly what you are, and I know how this ends. A pause. Then Grayson's voice shifts, colder, more dangerous. Do you? A crash. Glass shattering. Rowan flinches, pulling Keo tighter. Gunfire erupts, short, controlled bursts. Keo clamps his hands over his ears, face pressed into Rowan's chest. Rowan's breath comes in gasps, his whole body shaking, but he doesn't move, doesn't make a sound. Then silence. Footsteps approach the bathroom door again. Rowan's heart stops. A knock, gentle. "Rowan, it's me." Dante's voice. Rowan doesn't move. "It's over," Dante says. "He's gone." Rowan's hands shake as he reaches for the lock, hesitates. "Rowan," Dante says again, softer. "It's safe, I promise." Slowly, Rowan unlocks the door. It swings open. Dante stands there, blood on his knuckles, shirt torn but alive. Behind him, the safe house is wrecked, broken glass, overturned furniture. But no Grayson. Where is he? Rowan's voice is barely a whisper. "He ran," Dante says. "My team's tracking him now." Rowan's legs give out. Dante catches him, holds him upright. "He was here," Rowan gasps. "He was right outside. He could have." "But he didn't," Dante's voice is firm. "And he won't, not again." Rowan looks up, tears streaming down his face. "How do you know?" Dante's jaw tightens. "Because I'm done playing defense." He pulls out his phone, dials a number. "It's time," he says. "Set the trap." Rowan's breath catches. "What are you doing?" Dante looks at him, eyes hard. "I'm giving Grayson exactly what he wants," he says. "Me." Before Rowan can respond, Dante's phone buzzes. He checks it. Then his face goes cold. He turns the screen toward Rowan. A message from Grayson. A photo. Rowan's house again. But this time, there's someone standing in the doorway. A woman. Dark hair, cold eyes. And below the photo. "You thought you knew all my pieces. You don't. She's been watching you the whole time." Who could you trust when even allies might be enemies? The warehouse smells like rust and old rain. Dante stands in the center, arms crossed, waiting. Around him, his crew is positioned in the shadows, silent, armed, ready. This is the bait. Rowan and Keto are miles away, locked in a secure location with Dante's most trusted guards. Safe. Or as safe as they can be. Dante's phone buzzes. A message from his contact. He's moving. ETA 12 minutes. 12 minutes until Grayson walks into the trap. Dante's jaw tightens. He's done this 100 times, set traps, baited targets, waited for the moment to close the net. But this time feels different. Because this time it's personal. Footsteps echo from the far entrance. Dante doesn't move. The door swings open. Grayson Vale steps inside. He's older than his photos suggest, grey at the temples, lines around his eyes, but his posture is straight, confident. Like a man who's never lost. "Dante Kade," Grayson says, voice smooth, "the infamous protector." Dante doesn't respond. Grayson walks closer, hands in his pockets, casual. "You've caused me quite a bit of inconvenience." "Good." Grayson smiles. "I like you, you're direct, no pretense, no moral posturing." "I'm nothing like you." "No," Grayson tilts his head. "We both operate outside the law. We both use violence to achieve our goals. We both take what we want. How are we different?" Dante's voice is flat. "I don't hurt kids." Grayson's smile doesn't falter. "Neither do I discipline them. There's a difference." Dante's fists clench. Grayson steps closer, eyes sharp. "You think you're saving my son, but he doesn't need saving. He needs structure, guidance. He's weak, always has been. He's stronger than you'll ever be." Grayson laughs. "Is that what he told you? That he's a victim, that I'm the monster?" "You are." "No," Grayson's voice hardens. "I'm a father who refused to let the world break his child. I taught him resilience, control, obedience, and he repaid me by running." Dante steps forward, voice dropping to something lethal. "You didn't teach him, you broke him, and now you're trying to finish the job." Grayson's smile fades. "I'm taking him back," he says, "and the boy and the baby when it's born, they're mine." "No," Dante says, "they're not." Grayson's eyes flash. "You think you can stop me?" "I already have." Grayson lunges. Fast, precise. But Dante's faster. He sidesteps, catches Grayson's wrist, twists hard. Grayson hisses, tries to pull free, but Dante holds firm. I could kill you right now, Dante says quietly. It would be easy. Grayson's eyes blaze, then do it. Dante's grip tightens. Then he lets go. Steps back. Grayson stumbles, confusion flickering across his face. I'm not killing you, Dante says, because death is too easy. You don't get to escape what you've done. He pulls out his phone, presses a button. The warehouse doors swing open. Federal agents flood in, weapons drawn. Grayson's face goes white. What? I gave them everything, Dante says. Every file, every transaction, every name, everyone who protected you, everyone who helped you. It's over. Grayson backs up, shaking his head. You can't. I already did. The agents close in. Grayson's voice rises, desperate now. He's my son, I have rights. It's not anymore. One of the agents steps forward. Grayson Vale, you're under arrest for domestic terrorism, child endangerment, conspiracy. Grayson lunges toward Dante, screaming. He'll come back, he always comes back. You can't keep him from me. Dante's voice is cold. Watch me. Grayson is restrained, pulled toward the exit, still shouting threats. And then, silence. Dante stands alone in the warehouse, breathing hard, fists still clenched. It's done. But it doesn't feel like victory. Not yet. His phone buzzes. A message from Rowan, is it over? Dante types back, yes. Another buzz, can we come home? Dante stares at the word home. He types, yes, come home. Can justice ever truly heal what trauma has broken? 3 weeks later, Rowan stands in a courtroom. His hands rest on the railing in front of him, one on top of the other, hiding the way they shake. Across the room, Grayson sits in an orange jumpsuit, wrists cuffed, face blank. He doesn't look at Rowan. Doesn't acknowledge him at all. Like Rowan is still invisible. The prosecutor stands. Mr. Vale, would you like to make a statement? Rowan's throat tightens. He's practiced this 100 times, written it down, memorized it. But now, standing here, the words feel too small. He takes a breath. My father told me that love meant obedience, Rowan says, voice shaking. That family meant fear, that if I ever tried to leave, I'd prove I was weak, broken, worthless. Grayson's jaw tightens, but he doesn't look up. I believed him, Rowan continues, for years, because when you're told something every day by the person who's supposed to protect you, it becomes truth. His voice cracks. But it wasn't truth, it was control, and I almost let it kill me. He looks directly at Grayson now. You don't get to decide my worth anymore, Rowan says. You don't get to define my family. You don't get to touch my children. Grayson's head snaps up, eyes blazing. You're nothing without me, he hisses. Rowan's voice steadies. I was always something, you just couldn't see it. The judge clears his throat. Mr. Vale, you've been found guilty on all counts. Domestic terrorism, child endangerment, conspiracy, abuse. You'll be sentenced under national security restrictions. No parole, no contact. Grayson's face twists. You can't. I can, the judge says, and I have. Grayson lunges across the table, screaming, but guards restrain him. Rowan doesn't flinch. He just watches as Grayson is dragged from the courtroom, still shouting, still fighting. And then, silence. Rowan sinks into his chair, legs shaking, tears streaming down his face. The prosecutor touches his shoulder gently. You did it. Rowan nods, unable to speak. A week later, Rowan stands in the kitchen of the house Dante helped him secure. It's small, safe, quiet. Keo sits at the table, coloring, humming to himself. The baby moves inside Rowan's belly, and for the first time in months, it doesn't feel like a countdown to danger. It feels like hope. The front door opens. Dante steps inside, holding a toolbox. Cabinet hinge is still loose, he says. Rowan smiles. You don't have to keep fixing things. I know. But Dante sets the toolbox down and gets to work anyway. Rowan watches him, something warm and fragile blooming in his chest. You saved us, Rowan says quietly. Dante glances up. You saved yourself. I just made sure no one stopped you. Rowan's throat tightens. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to. I want to. Dante sets the screwdriver down, turns to face him fully. Then let me stay, he says. Rowan's breath catches. What? Not because you need protection, Dante says carefully, but because I want to be here, with you, with Keo, with your family. Rowan's eyes fill with tears. Why? Because you showed me what love looks like without pain, Dante says, and I want to learn how to give that back. Before Rowan can respond, Keo barrels into the room. Daddy Dante, he shouts, wrapping his arms around Dante's legs. Rowan freezes. Dante's face cracks, emotion so raw it looks like it hurts. He crouches, hugs Keo back, eyes closing. Rowan's tears spill over. He's never called anyone that before, Rowan whispers. Dante looks up at him, and for the first time, Rowan sees something other than control in his eyes. He sees fear, hope, love. Can I? Dante asks quietly. Rowan nods, unable to speak. Dante stands slowly, crosses to Rowan and wraps his arms around him, careful of his belly, gentle, protective. Rowan leans into him, letting himself be held, letting himself believe this is real. I'll protect you, Dante murmurs, but more than that, I'll love you right, every day, for the rest of my life. Rowan's tears soak into Dante's shirt. Promise, he whispers. Promise. And for the first time in Rowan's life, he believes it. Sometimes the safest place isn't a house. It's the arms of someone who refuses to let your past touch you again. Running from abuse isn't weakness, it's courage. Real love protects without controlling. Your past doesn't get to decide your future. And justice, though slow, can be real. If this story moved you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more stories like this. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might inspire someone who needs to hear them. And remember, healing is possible, safety is real, and you are never alone.